Lots of people visit Britain to see its historical sites, and there are many true adventure stories linked to these old buildings.
This is Boscobel House in the Midlands, secret hiding place of King Charles II before he became king. In 1651, Charles was on the run to avoid capture after being defeated at the Battle of Worcester. One wrong move and Charles would have been caught and killed. Here's what happened. Night was approaching when Charles arrived at a house belonging to his friends and allies. He was desperate and exhausted. A servant, William Penderell, answered the door.
"Please, hide me from the soldiers, Mr. Servant,"
pleaded Charles. "We can't hide you here," said Penderell. "It's too dangerous. I can take you to another house where my mother lives, but it's a long walk and we must disguise you." The servant cut off Charles's long curly hair and his moustache and then made a lotion from walnut juice. He spread the lotion on Charles's face so that he looked as brown and sunburned as if he'd worked outside all his life. Then, as darkness fell, they set off. Luckily, they avoided being seen. All night long they travelled through a forest to a house called Boscobel, which was hidden deep amongst the trees. It was dawn when they arrived at Boscobel, and William Penderell's mother opened the door to them. "Soldiers are everywhere," said Mrs. Penderell, "and they might even search Boscobel. But there are many trees in the forest. You must hide in the branches of one of the trees until the soldiers go." Charles found an oak tree not far from the house. He climbed up, hid amongst the branches, and waited. Before long he heard the voices of soldiers and the swish of their swords.
"Please, don't look up,"
whispered Charles to himself. Finally, the soldiers moved off, but Charles was too terrified to move in case they returned. At last, William Penderell came to the foot of the tree.
"I can't let them find me, but I can't spend another day in this tree. Oh, I'm so stiff I can hardly move."
"Come back into the house," said William. "There is a secret hiding place. It's very small and cramped, but we must risk it." On the top floor of the house, William pulled back a rug covering the wooden floor. Then he put his finger into a little hole in the floor and gently lifted up a hidden trapdoor. Underneath was a tiny box-like room, which was so small that Charles had to sit with his knees drawn up under his chin. He stayed there overnight, hardly sleeping. The next day, William and his mother came up with a plan to get Charles out of the country. Living nearby were a family called the Lanes, who had a daughter called Jane. They knew that the soldiers were looking for a man with black curly hair and a moustache. But Charles was dressed in scruffy clothes and was brown as a nut, so the Lane family were sure that the soldiers would never look too closely at a lady travelling with such a shabbily dressed servant.
"I'm just a poor servant,"
said Charles. Not one soldier stopped them, and Charles escaped overseas. Later, when he became king, he remembered his day in the oak tree and his night in the secret room at Boscobel, and told everybody.
"I gave the Penderells a huge reward."
In fact, you can still see the secret hiding place under the floor at Boscobel, and the oak tree which concealed Charles is still in the grounds at Boscobel, nearly 500 years after Charles hid in its branches.
But let's take another look at the two places Charles hid when he was escaping from the soldiers who were after him. The house where he hid was called Boscobel, and it's in the Midlands. For a whole day, Charles hid amongst the branches of an oak tree. At night, Charles hid in a tiny box-shaped room underneath the floor of Boscobel House. You can still see the secret hiding place inside Boscobel House where Charles hid, and the oak tree outside in the grounds of Boscobel House. End of Module 1. Module 2. Pleasant and nasty experiences.
Britain doesn't have extremes of climate. The summer is not too hot and the winter is never too cold. As a result, few natural disasters happen in the UK.
Disasters and accidents. The most likely natural disaster is flooding. Sometimes in the late autumn or early spring, when it rains a lot, the river levels can rise so high that low-lying towns and cities are flooded. But the British are good at dealing with disasters and usually remain cheerful and calm.
Road accidents are a different matter.
Britain is a crowded country with lots of traffic and lots of roads. Accidents can happen anywhere, and especially on foggy days or on winter days, when the roads are covered in ice and very dangerous.
If there is a road accident, eyewitnesses are very important, and the police try to get accurate accounts from anyone who saw the accident. So what makes a good eyewitness? Well, we asked Police Inspector Chris Nevitt to tell us.
First of all, it's someone who doesn't panic when they see something happening or when they're talking to us. Secondly, they need to pay attention to the detail of what is happening. And thirdly, they need to be able to tell us clearly afterwards what they've seen. So that someone who doesn't panic, pays attention to detail, and calmly tells us afterwards in a clear way what's happened. And all those three things will make a good eyewitness.
Accidents happen very quickly, and often it's very difficult to remember exactly what happened. So to find out how much people remember, the Enterprise Review invited 3 people to our studio to watch footage of the same accident. And then afterwards, we asked each of them individually what happened. We'll find out how they got on in a moment, but first, let's watch the accident on film. Okay, first Zoe's turn. What does she remember seeing?
Well, the old man was on the bike, swerving quite, along on the road, and he was followed by a red lorry, which I feel was far too close, possibly putting him under pressure. And on the other side of the road, a white car came along, and there was no room for the 2 cars to pass. And I feel that it was the lorry's fault again, putting pressure on the man. And the man was hit by the white car.
Next, Jack. What does he remember seeing?
Well, what I saw, the gentleman on the bike was wobbling about a bit in the road and the lorry was unable to overtake him. A few moments later, the white car came in the opposite direction. The man on the bike went to turn right without signalling and got hit by the car.
And finally, Tom. What does he remember seeing?
Well, an elderly gentleman was cycling, closely followed by a red lorry. He swerved into the middle of the road just as a white Ford was coming in his direction, and he got knocked off his bicycle.
Here's another look at the accident footage so you can decide for yourself what happened and which of the eyewitnesses was the most accurate.
That was a reconstruction, but what about real accidents? Back to Jake.
I'm out and about in Cambridge to find out exactly what happens when people get involved in an accident. Have you ever been involved in an accident?
Well, yes, about a year ago.
And what happened?
Well, I was cycling along the road and I cycled into a car door which opened straight in front of me and I went right over the handlebars.
What happened next?
Well, I went to hospital and they did a few x-rays and they put my neck in a brace for a few days.
And how did it all turn out in the end?
Well, I had a bit of a stiff neck, but apart from that I was fine, luckily.
Right, thanks very much. Have you ever been involved in an accident?
Yeah, I was involved in an accident when I was about 9 on a skiing holiday.
How did it happen?
Well, I saw a jump in the distance and I was going far too fast and I hit it all wrong and landed really badly.
And what happened next?
I broke my leg just below the knee.
And how did it all turn out in the end?
Well, my dad took me down to the hospital on his shoulders and I was in plaster for about 6 weeks, but after that I was okay.
Back now to our police advisor, Inspector Chris Nevitt, to find out what we should do in an emergency like a fire or a road accident. What's his advice?
Well, first and foremost, you've got to look after your own safety. You've got to be in a safe place before you do anything else. Then either use a mobile phone or get someone to go to a phone and contact the emergency services. When you've done that, you can then look to see if you can be of help to the people involved. But you've got to look after your own safety and get the emergency services on their way before you do anything else.
Remember, accidents and disasters aren't as frequent as it might seem from this report. Most people go on from day to day without accidents or emergency. So when you've finished watching this programme, don't have nightmares about what might happen to you.
Festivals and celebrations.
The British are very fond of their celebrations and festivals. And throughout the year in Britain, certain days are set aside for such events. Now, everybody knows about Christmas and Easter, but there's one traditional English event which is less well known, and that's Bonfire Night.
Bonfire Night takes place on November the 5th each year. Early in the evening, once it's really dark, most communities have their own bonfire party. Once the fire is alight, it's time for fireworks. It's a spectacular and noisy sight, but very good fun for everyone and a real community party. It's traditional to eat toffee apples on Bonfire Night, but some people prefer a hot burger on a cold night. And children really enjoy lighting sparklers. Bonfire Night is a community party. But what if you'd like to hold your own party? We set our reporter Jake Martin the challenge of setting up a party in 2 days. We join him on Friday morning.
It's Friday morning, and the challenge is to set up a party for Saturday evening in just 2 days. The first step? Make sure the next door neighbours are okay with it.
No, I don't mind you having a party at your house, as long as you don't make too much noise. But can you put a notice on your front door asking your guests not to park in front of my garage, please? I do hope it goes well, and try not to make too much noise, you might frighten the dog.
Friday afternoon.
Friday afternoon. Next step, sort out the party guests. Best done on the phone, I reckon. Hi Barney, it's Jake.
Oh, hi Jake, how are you?
Yeah, I'm fine. Listen, I'm having a party tomorrow night. Do you want to come?
Yeah, sure, what time?
It's going to start about 9.
That sounds fine. I'll see you tomorrow then.
Great. I'll see you then.
All right then, bye.
Hello there, Matt. It's Jake here.
Hello Jake, how are you?
Yeah, I'm really good. Listen, I'm having a party tomorrow night. Do you fancy coming along?
Sure, but I can't get there until about 12, is that okay?
That's fine. Just get here whenever you can.
Alright, cool. See you tomorrow then.
See you tomorrow. Hi, is that Gail?
Yes, this is Gail.
Hi Gail, it's Jake here. How are you?
Oh, hi Jake, I'm fine.
Now, what are you up to tomorrow night?
I don't know.
Well, there's a party at my place tomorrow, and I wondered if you and possibly Amy want to come along.
Well, I'd have to ask her.
Well, I'm sure that you can talk her into it, so I'll see you tomorrow at my place at 9.
Alright then, bye.
See you, Gail. Hi, Louise.
Hello.
Hiya, it's Jake here. How are you?
Oh, hello darling, I'm fine. How are you?
Yes, I'm really well. Now listen, are you free tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'm free. What have you got in mind?
Good. Well, there's a party. It's at my place and it's around 9 o'clock.
Oh, I'll definitely be there then.
Okay. Well, I'll see you then.
Alright, bye.
Bye.
Saturday morning.
Saturday morning. Just a few hours to go before the party. And I've decided to hire someone to do the music. A travelling disco. That should do the trick. Hello, is that King Dex, the DJ?
It is, yeah.
Right. I'm having a party, and I just wondered if you'd be able to organise the music for me.
You're in luck, because I'm normally booked up on Saturdays, but I've had a cancellation this week, so I can DJ at your party.
Great. How long can you play for?
How about 3 one-hour sessions? First one starting at 9, another one at 10:30, and then the last one at midnight.
That's perfect.
What kind of music do you want?
I guess a kind of a party mix. How much do you charge?
£75 for the evening, okay?
That's fine. I'm at number 34 Newton Road.
Right, that's just off Long Road, isn't it?
That's the one.
Okay, see you there.
Okay.
Bye.
Saturday afternoon.
Saturday afternoon. Time for a bit of last minute shopping. This party is going to have good food as well as the entertainment. I'm planning to make a big hot dish with chicken and rice with salad so people can tuck in whenever they want. Plus, I need to top up on the soft drinks. Cokes. Juice. Plenty of chilled water.
Back at Jake's house, food is being prepared, and with 2 hours to go, it looks like Jake is going to meet the party challenge.
Oh, okay. So it's about 2 hours to the party. The food is cooking and all the salads are done. Mr. Dexon's music should be here about 8 o'clock. The neighbours are happy and all the invites are out. Should be a very good night. And there's just time for a quick shower. Do 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 do. La da 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 da. Do you mind? Well, this is my party and it's private in here. Go and find your own party. Do 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 la da da da.
Eating habits. Britain is a very cosmopolitan country. Take a look around most towns and cities in the UK and you can find lots of restaurants selling lots of different types of food. They say that Britain's #1 favourite restaurant food is chicken tikka from an Indian restaurant. And it's true, there are Indian restaurants everywhere. But fish and chips is also a very popular meal. Join the queue and you'll get your fish and chips, complete with salt and vinegar, ready to take home and wrapped in newspaper to keep it warm. Then again, fast food restaurants are everywhere. Burger, pizza, kebabs, whatever you fancy can be ready for you to eat in a couple of minutes.
That still doesn't stop people from going to a restaurant for a proper sit-down meal. And here's how to order.
Hello. Are you ready to order?
Yes, we are.
What would you like for starters?
I would like the seafood salad, please.
And I'll have the goat cheese salad with tomato.
Tomato. What would you like for your main?
I would like the mushroom omelette and fries, please.
Okay.
And fish pie with vegetables for me, please.
Okay. Would you like any desserts?
Can we choose that later?
Yeah, no problem. Would you like a drink with your meal?
A bottle of sparkling mineral water, please.
Okay. Thank you.
If you've been out for a meal at a restaurant, you might be asked your opinion about the food you've eaten.
So come on then, what was it like?
What?
The new Italian restaurant. You were meant to go there last Saturday night.
The Sorrento? Oh yes, we did go in the end.
And?
And the pizzas were delicious.
Whereabouts is it, did you say?
It's well hidden. You know the main shopping centre in the town?
Oh yes.
Well, next to the big bookshop, there's a sort of little alleyway.
Oh, back lane runs alongside the bookshop.
Yes, that's it. If you go all the way down back lane, take a right at the end, it's the third building in on the opposite side of the road, next to the toy shop, I believe.
Oh, I know where it is. Yeah, I'll have to try that sometime.
It's well worth a visit.
If you're on holiday in Britain and want something to eat, here's a top tip.
Look out for the places where there's lots of people. You'll often find the busier the restaurant, the better the food. But wherever you go, enjoy your meal.
End of Module 2.